Sometimes it's hard to find people that you relate to. Last night we went to Starbucks and ran into someone there, and we started talking about stuff, and then all of a sudden we started talking about aquaponics. And I got really excited because I love to talk about aquaponics. Aquaponics are awesome. Aquaponics are fun. Aquaponics are interesting to me, and every time I get into a conversation with somebody about aquaponics, I just want to talk about it. But then it was kind of weird because as soon as I mentioned aquaponics, he thinks I mean like killing and eating the fish, and I was like, oh no no, I'm vegan. And then of course he felt embarrassed because he just asked me if I fry and eat my triops, and of course my reaction was like revulsion and disgust, and so it's kind of awkward. But and then I started talking about things that do good in a small tank, that people could potentially do aquaponics with. Because a lot of times, I think with aquaponics, people focus too much on trying to get fish and crops out of it when they could probably make a lot more money and have a more profitable system going on if they didn't focus so much on trying to grow tilapia, which is a big fish, requires a lot of energy, a large space, a large container, which is going to have a bigger filter and everything, and just all the energy that goes into growing the tilapia, I think could be put into growing the plants, and I think it'd be more profitable because nobody really likes to eat tilapia. Freshwater fish are not really preferred. Most people like to eat saltwater fish who do eat fish. So aquaponics with fish isn't really, I don't think it's the best idea. I think it would be a better idea to, if you want to go with big fish, to do something like carp, like koi fish, something that people treasure, something that people take really good care of and try really hard not to kill, because they spent thousands of dollars on it and want it for a beautiful pond, and hopefully want to give it a really good environment and a really big pond. And I think that'd be a lot better than, say, like trying to farm these tilapia. And you probably make a lot more money too if you were to do carp, like ornamental carp versus tilapia, because they you can get a lot more money for them. And then also, even just doing something really tiny like goldfish and not selling them, not breeding them, not doing anything with them other than just using their fertilizer could probably be a lot simpler and better for just doing straightforward aquaponics and not worrying about killing the fish. And you could use smaller tanks and not have to deal with catching them and trying to raise them big enough for food, and just all the energy that people are putting into that aspect of the aquaponics could just be funneled into the plants, which make more money anyways. Because who wants to eat tilapia? Here in Hawaii, people associate tilapia with the Alawai Canal, which is sadly gotten really gross. But they're not really like seen as like the cleanest fish ever. I think they started giving them a different name to get people to eat them. Anyway, they're kind of like the low quality fish people buy. And I think aquaponics is something that vegans should definitely get into because it is a really good way to grow food. I've not been doing my own aquaponics the way I want to do it yet because I've been behind on my life goals, honestly. But I am talking about this because I want to talk to somebody out there about aquaponics who's a vegan, who's passionate about it, because it's hard to find people to talk to things about. And I get so excited, like something comes up, ooh, I want to talk about aquaponics, and then all of a sudden it's like they want to keep a tilapia in a 20-gallon tank, and I'm like, that's crazy, man. Like, even if I did think it's okay to eat fish, which I don't, because I mean they have eyeballs and they're looking at me and they have souls and stuff. Like, I would want it to have a lot more room if I was one of those, like, um, free range meat eater types, which I'm not. But yeah, like, and then also he gestured a 20 gallon, and he went like this, like, and it was the motions he made were much smaller than the 20 gallon tank, so it actually seemed like he was talking about a 3 or 5 gallon tank with the gestures he was doing. I was thinking maybe he's kind of an idiot, because I was like, that this this big, that's 5 gallons, like, that's not, or 3 gallons, that's not 20 gallons. Well, what do you want to try and keep in there? I don't know, he's thinking about doing some microgreens or something, and I was just getting bored, like, wow, you want to keep a tilapia in like a 5 gallon. That's crazy. I had a really unfortunate experience. I got a betta fish for my 3 gallon, and it died, and I felt horrible because, as a vegan, I cherish every animal's life, and I wouldn't have put it in there if I thought it was gonna die. I thought it would thrive and be happy. When I was a kid, we put betta fish in little teeny tiny little bowls, and people said they were happy and fine and they liked that, and I believed them. And now information has changed, and people are saying no, actually betta fish do like a bigger environment. And I really appreciate the aquarium hobby community online. I think it's become a lot more positive, like probably in the last 5 years or 10 years, with the internet, getting bigger and bigger and bigger, of course, and people communicating about these different hobbies that they have. And people have reached a consensus that betta fish need to be kept in larger tanks than those little bowls that you see people keep them in, and they say you can keep them in. That's not humane, that's not okay, and everybody loves beautiful betta fish, and you know, you can have other tank mates with betta fish. It's just, you have to be careful about who they are and how you introduce them, and I'm not an expert on that, but they do need to go in a bigger tank, and I didn't think, I thought that, okay, so since we keep them in these little tanks, and then there's these other people saying you need to have at least a 10 gallon, I'll go with a 3 gallon, because, mine did fine in a little bowl when I was a kid, and so this big thing would be better. But then I was thinking back, no, my betta fish didn't do fine in that little bowl. It died, and 3 gallon is not that much better than the little bowl, but I thought it was so much better. I thought, oh, 3 gallons is gonna be really huge for that. I mean, and I wanted to rescue it. It was like, I saw it at Walmart, and I know they say like the worst thing you can do is buy them, and because that just supports the industry. But at the same time, I was like this cute little fish looking at me like, please help me. I don't know. It's rough. It's rough to be a vegan, and I should have got a bigger tank. I feel guilty. Yeah, it's bad. I sinned. It's a sin. It's a sin to kill an animal, even if you do it kind of on accident. Like, I mean, I didn't mean to at all. Didn't mean for the animal to die at all. But when you could have done better, you admit that you sinned. Just admit it, and then don't do it again. Move on. Forgive yourself. You slap on the wrist, and then forgive yourself, because you have to have compassion on yourself too. Anyway, so yeah, now I've been raising triops, and I chose triops because they have a short lifespan. That way, if I make mistakes with the triops, they live 90 days maximum. So, yeah, you feel me? I'm trying to do this aquaponics thing because there is a big issue with water, especially like in Waianae. I live in Hawaii, and a lot of the streams and canals have been diverted and stuff, and that makes agriculture difficult in different places because of the cost of water and stuff. So aquaponics is something that's really cool because even though it might not look like it looks like it uses a lot of water, it uses a lot less water than traditional agriculture because all the water is just like kept in there, and it can be like filtered and recycled, maybe even if it's like cleaned really good. So there's a lot of things that can be done with aquaponics to keep the world food supply going good, and people are doing a lot of aquaponics and aeroponics. And I had this idea, and I thought it's really good. And I don't really care if people copy my idea because I just want more food for everyone because we live in a world. I've seen really heartbreaking shit. I've traveled, and I don't want to cry right now. But anyway, I don't know if my idea is good, so take it with a grain of salt. But okay, mushrooms are like the new meat, right? Like, you can get anything from mushrooms that you can get from meat, and pretty much, I don't know, maybe that's open to debate, but like, mushrooms are meat. We can grow them huge. We don't have to have these teeny little ones that they sell at the store because people don't really want to commit to buying such a huge mushroom. I get it. But we can grow them a lot bigger. We can grow them like the size of an animal. Easily. Just people don't do that. But I was thinking, even if we have to grow small mushrooms in order to sell them, we can grow mushrooms in aeroponics room, also doing aeroponics and using the aeroponics as humidity for the mushrooms. So like doing things together, and also aquaponics, aeroponics to aquaponics, because the aeroponics droplet mist water is eventually going to settle down into some aquaponics. So I was thinking, like, to get a really good vertical system, maybe have aeroponics on top, aquaponics on the bottom, and then mushrooms on the side and all around, or something like that. So I don't know, just something to think about if you're interested in growing food. That concept, which I want to get into, that idea. But if you think it's a bad idea, if you think it's better to just, not try to do aeroponics and mushrooms in the same room, like if you think things would go bad or whatever, I don't have a lot of experience. I have no experience whatsoever. A lot of my plants are dying, so just, like, sometimes I think I'm smart and I'm not that smart. But maybe that's a good idea. Who knows? Okay.